and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. There's really nothing I can say in this introduction to prepare you for this comic other than a fight between religious figures. More on that after the theme song.
Welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Linkara's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. Brodsky, you're not the smartest. Life out, you're not an artist. Anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, he's a man punch, wears a birdie hat. Linkara, he has a magic gun. Where'd he purchase that? Linkara, coins, robots, Amazon and trucks. Linkara, this comic sucks. Linkara. Test your might. Test your might. Test your might.
Really, that's the reason why this comic has been requested so much. A ridiculous battle that's offensive on many, many levels. But don't take my word for it. Let's just dig into the Godyssey #1. Well, to be accurate, it's Evangeline and Glory, the Godyssey #1. Evangeline, according to Wikipedia, is a former angel who evidently could summon her angelic powers by quoting the Bible. Believe it or not, this was not created by a church, but rather Rob Liefeld himself and former Vampirella model Kathy Christian. Glory, in turn, is another Liefeld creation who's an Amazon and half demon, and at least one person has told me that she's a Wonder Woman ripoff. Since I try to avoid anything Liefeld creates unless I'm reviewing it for the show, I can't be certain if that's accurate or not. Anyway, back to this happy little crossover. There are two things that this comic is known for. One is the aforementioned battle, but the other is the cover. While Liefeld is not the artist on this book, he is the artist for the cover. And what a cover it is! Take a good long look at that spine, people. If you're wondering why I'm not screaming in horror at that thing, I should note that my higher brain functions have already retreated from the sight of it in order to preserve my sanity. What's especially bizarre about this cover is that there's an alternate photo cover featuring two real women next to each other. Clearly people were available to show Liefeld how actual human beings work, and yet that wasn't enough for him. Amazing. We open to Jesus on the cross. Wow! As if the cover wasn't enough to make us feel uncomfortable. This imagery may be understandably awkward for some people, so feel free to skip ahead if you wish. However, those of you who are sticking around, it's time for me to reiterate something. Way back in my Uncanny X-Men number 423 review, I pointed out that a crucifixion done in this manner, with the nails driven through the palms, is, well, kind of impossible. I say kind of because from what I've read, it is actually possible to do so depending on a few other factors, like the nail's angle, or more importantly, how the feet are affixed to the cross. Needless to say, shoving a nail through both feet is not the way to do it, and certainly not hanging from the angle he's at. I'd like to reiterate also that the Romans were experts at this and were not likely to screw this up. Anyway, yeah, panels of him being crucified along with Bible quotes about the crucifixion from the Gospels. And it is now that we arrive at the first thing that this comic is known for. A lightning bolt strikes from the sky and this dialogue is spoken. Behold, Mount Olympus! Let us gaze upon this pathetic creature who calls himself a god! Oh my, yes, you are really about to see this. The Greek gods appear in front of Jesus. I must have missed that part when I was studying the New Testament in college. Almighty Zeus, if he is a god, why doth he allow himself to suffer at the whim of mankind? Because he is a fool, Apollo, a fool who covets man as a father covets his children. He should take the form of a swan and sleep around like I do. I don't give a crap about my kids. No offense, Apollo. None taken, Dad. Jesus' eyes suddenly open and holy crap, he looks pissed. Then again, I'd be pissed too if I was a symbol of love and peace that some asshole comic writer decided to put in a comic book so I would fight the Greek gods. Oh yeah, spoilers, that is seriously about to happen. He literally pulls his hands and feet through the nails. Ouch, that's gonna hurt even after the resurrection, I can just tell. He also seems to have quite a bit of muscle and strength on him for someone who's been dehydrated, tortured, starved, and, lest we forget, crucified! And now we're at the moment of truth. The moment everyone's been waiting for. As both a nerd and a Christian, though, I find this idea simultaneously awesome and extraordinarily offensive. Because this idea is so completely against Jesus' teachings and the way he lived his life, and just the sheer what the hell of this entire situation, we're going to assume that this is not actually Jesus, but some other guy who was crucified and the Greek gods just came on the wrong day. Say hello to Jesus, the Christian martial artist. Jesus opens with a backhand to, whoever the heck that guy was. He mocks us, Hercules! 'Tis time to unleash the fires of Olympus upon this so-called god. Mortal Kombat! Jesus wins. Theology. Zeus is impressed with Jesus' fighting, but lays in with the trash talk. And is it just me, or does Zeus kind of sound like the ultimate warrior when he rambles like this? Thou hast proven thyself a worthy opponent, but can thee surmount true power? Does thee have the courage to combat the almighty Zeus?
Ah, you can feel it, dude! You can feel it!
Speak! I command thee! Your silence angers the king of gods. Thou dost defy me? Then thee who covets man shall be treated as man, a mere plaything to amuse me.
Normal people, the people that walk the streets every day, we cannot understand.
And thou shalt know suffering unlike any man ever known. Thou shalt know unending torment until thou speaks, and proclaims man's insignificance.
Now you must deal with the creation of all the unpleasantries in the entire universe as I feel the injection from the gods above.
Jesus proclaims, never! And the two charge at each other to begin their epic fight. So here's a stupid question. These are the Greek gods, right? But isn't this taking place at the height of the Roman Empire? You know, the guys who took the Greek gods and changed their names around? What the hell do the Greek gods care about all this? They're old hat, and their civilization is kind of, you know, not really around anymore. But of course, this entire discussion is academic. Figuratively, I mean. There is nothing academic about this moronic comic. For you see, the whole thing was a dream. Yes, I'm serious. The entire reason why people wanted me to review this comic is a lie. Yes, it was the dream of the narrow-stomached Evangeline. She wakes up to find Glory standing over her in a, okay, really? They're serious with that outfit, with the thong and the bra, which, by the way, I'm assuming is metal given the design of it, yet her nipples are visible through it. Real nice there. As her outfit, at this point, why even bother with the immense shoulder pads at all? Your shoulders are the part of your body you're most worried about protecting? Glory tells Evangeline that the dream she had is a prophecy, and she had the same visions of the two forces going to war. Oh, and Evangeline's outfit is just as ludicrous. For crying out loud, she had more clothes on when she was sleeping. Glory tells her that her mother instructed her to bring her back to Amazonia to learn the truth about the visions. Oh, and say hello to Glory's butt. That and Evangeline's butt are going to get just as much panel time as them. Suddenly, Athena makes perfect sense. It's just a remake of these characters. There's a portal to Amazonia in the closet, so many jokes I could make, and they travel through it. Welcome to Amazonia, which consists of that one column right there. Yeah, Ed Baines and Michael Chang, the pencilers, could have drawn the backgrounds and look of Amazonia, but then we wouldn't get this shot of the two's metal thong-clad rears. They meet Glory's mother, Lady Demeter, who apparently shops for capes at the same place Strife does. Seriously, what the hell is making her cape stand up like that? Who tells them that Heaven's war host has begun battling Ares. We get the backstory of this little squabble of deities. Zeus, unable to accept that humanity had outgrown the need for gods, became jealous of Jehovah. After Jesus' sacrifice, Zeus knew he'd never gain humanity's favor again, and now wishes to destroy Jehovah and, you guessed it, take over the world.
Of course!
How exactly does Zeus plan to destroy something that, by its very definition, is all-powerful? Yeah, you could fight his angels, but that's like fighting off all the minor enemies in a video game, but not being able to take out the boss of the level. Glory says they must stop Zeus, and Evangeline wonders why she's enthusiastic about that, since her people are supposed to serve the gods. Not Hippolyta says that they can't let the senseless aggression stand, even if they do serve the gods, and oh look, Glory's ass. Yeah, there was absolutely no other way they could have framed this shot. Also, why the hell is the entire panel crooked? They want Evangeline with them since they don't know much about Jehovah or Christianity. Their first stop is to go to Mount Olympus and try to convince Athena to join them. One wonders why the goddess of wisdom isn't already on their side. On Mount Olympus, which is not so much a mountain as it is a big floating island in space with futuristic buildings. You know, I'm gonna take a wild guess here and say that the writers and artists didn't know much about Greek or Christian mythology. Ares reports favorably that his attack at Heaven's Gate is going well. So, do all the other gods just sit around or stand next to the throne all day? You'd think Zeus would spring for some chairs or cushions or something. Evangeline and Glory are nearby, hiding behind a modern-day brick wall, which, according to many people on Twitter that I asked, was not the same kind of material used by the ancient Greeks. So why is there a brick building in Olympus just around the corner of Zeus's throne room? It's especially confusing considering that the establishing shot showed the futuristic city. Make up your mind, comic, what the hell are they using? To get off that topic, but move into another bit of makes no sense, take a look at Glory's outfit again, at least in this panel. What are her shoulder pads even attached to? Are they even shoulder pads? Are they actually part of her body? Anyway, Glory says there's no time to convince Athena, and they have to try to convince Zeus directly. This brilliant plan goes about as well as you would expect, with Zeus ordering Ares and Hercules to deal with them. They fight and, oh for crying out loud, Hercules grabs a column to use as a bat, and it apparently becomes bamboo when he smashes it onto the ground. You know, I'm starting to think this might be kind of a dumb comic. Ares is punched into a fissure in the ground. That's another thing about the Greek pantheon. If they're so powerful, you'd think they'd summon up some wings or something so this kind of thing wouldn't happen. Hercules knocks out Evangeline, or maybe she's just kind of stoned given the expression on her face here. Duh! Glory manages to kick Hercules into the fissure. Zeus decides to intervene and says he'll condemn Glory to Hades for this, sending out a bolt of lightning at her. However, Evangeline recovers and pushes her out of the way, taking the hit. And so our comic ends with Glory proclaiming, "She's dead!" Is Evangeline dead? Will they stop Zeus's mad plan? What will become of Jesus, Christian martial artist? Who knows? As far as I can tell, this is the only issue of the Godyssey ever published, and it sucks. The story is ridiculous, and the opening sequence more than a little offensive to me as a Christian. The artwork is lazy or just wants to remind the reader that the two heroines are wearing bikinis. Oh, and said heroines have no real distinguishing personalities. You could honestly swap all their dialogue and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the two. If you're really curious about the story potential of various pantheons waging war, Wonder Woman has actually done this twice. Once in a crossover event called War of the Gods, and another one in 1999 called God War. I haven't personally read either, but I've heard some good things about God War at the very least. Oh yeah, and in the back of the comic there's also two entirely different letters about Rob Liefeld leaving Image Comics at the time, but I don't really care about that, and neither should any of you. Because, hey, Rob didn't even have anything to do with this comic other than the cover, and, well, I think that's all the evidence you need about why Rob should not be working for any company.
Recently across the United States, it seems that entire buildings and individuals have simply vanished into thin air. According to statements from local police forces, everything that has disappeared has apparently left no trace. Eyewitnesses to the event say it was as if the world flickered for a moment and then were just gone. While the occurrences have been taking place throughout the country, the most areas that have been hit are apparently central Minnesota. A military official that spoke with GNN said only, "It's as if a piece of the world is missing." This is Lori Prince, GNN. Now let's take another call.